Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me once again today, and welcome back to another Dominions 5 adventure. It's been a long time. It's been a while. I've been away from Dominions for a couple of months now. Haven't been doing much with it, but I'm getting back into it. There are a couple reasons for that. I mean, for one thing, I just sort of lose interest in things after a while. It comes and goes, as always. And I had a whole bunch of clips recorded and ready to be edited and uploaded. And then a lot of them ended up corrupted for whatever reason. I haven't quite figured that one out, but I'm sure it'll be alright. So I think I fixed the issue. It hasn't happened again. But I don't know why it happened in the first place, so in any case. But I'm getting back into it now, and this is, I had to shorten the name because of the way the hosting bot works, but this is the Incoherence of the Pantokrators, a Dominions 5 Disciples game. So I'm doing this with subscribers, as I usually do with games that I host. I'm drawn from my Discord server. If you want to be in games like this when I host them, do join the Discord server. That's where I recruit for them. I recruit first among Patreon supporters. I give them a little bit of time to claim slots before I open it up to the public, but there are always some slots left. So this is a Disciples game. We have 18 nations, 6 teams of 3, and it should be interesting. The full list of players is in the description. Actually, I guess I could read out the players right now, because I do have that list available. So, the people we've got playing in the Incoherence of the Pantokrators. Team 1, myself, Nasajin, and 6P. I'm playing Rus, Nasajin is Niefelheim, and 6 is playing Pangaea. Team 2, the Underwater Bastards, as they call themselves. We have Phaonix playing Therodos, BallinStallin playing Atlantis, and Perun playing Pelagia. Team 3, we've got Haerdalas playing Arcoscephale, BasileusBasil playing Tir Na, and Fengvr playing Vanheim. Team 4, the Small Giants, we have Kris Lighthawk playing Machaka, Imir playing Agartha, and Calandiel playing Berytos. Team 5, we've got General Sinwah on Sauromatia, FoxyDean on and Galzon on Hinnom. And Team 6, we have Trif on Fomoria, Foxius on Yomi, and Brong on Lanka. Most of those names should be at least somewhat familiar if you've been watching a lot of my videos. A lot of these guys have been involved in previous games, or like Brong was the person who won the Westnoth tournament. And Perun, of course, you've heard of before. Nasajin, Haerdalas, 6. All those people have been on the channel before. But in any case, so let's dive right into it, shall we? Turn 1. So Rus, put you on ice, the ruler of Rus, the foremost of Killer Frost's servants. Killer Frost is our god, also a super villainess, pretender god in Pangaea. So 6P is our pretender god. I'm a disciple, and Niefelheim is a disciple, and we are playing on a randomly generated map. We have, basically, we've got these 2 lakes, because we do have a full underwater team, and then we've got a kind of 2 little land bridges between them, which should be interesting. There's the underwater nations, and I'm not sure how well I set this up, but the underwater nations do have fewer underwater provinces than the land nations have land provinces per nation. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 underwater provinces in this lake. There's 2 nations in this lake, I believe. There's 1 there, so 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 underwater provinces all told. That may still be too many. That may be giving too much of a kind of an unassailable fortress to the underwater nations, but I don't know. It seemed appropriate. It seemed alright. And of course I did randomly generate this map using the in-game generator. A few basic checks just to try and make sure there wasn't anything absolutely disastrous, but mostly I just rolled the dice. Just kind of let it be what it is. So, you can't see our scales in these provinces yet, but you can in our default, in the Pretender Gods province. We've got Sloth, Cold, Turmoil, Misfortune, and Magic. And the reason we've got all that is because, of course, we're playing 2 nations that have significant cold preference, 1 that's neutral temp, and all of them are pretty decent by way of sacreds. All of them have solid sacreds for, at least for expansion. Niflheim's, like, Nifl Giants are too expensive and not efficient enough to use in, like, combat with other players, but having a Heavy Bless is useful for some of their mages later on, especially now that they have Sacred Skratir and they don't have to use, like, shrouds and stuff for them. White centaurs, of course, love having a heavy bless, and Chud skin shifters do well with a fairly heavy bless. So we've taken shock resistance, fire resistance, regeneration, and blood bond. So that should give us some pretty potent sacreds in combat, and it will also be very useful for turbo communions later on. It will help with, I guess it helps Pans some, it helps Perkunu some. So, you know, we got some decent stuff going on there. In terms of this first turn, of course, I don't need to make a profit because put you on ice, my disciple is effectively the prophet. 20% regeneration base plus just enough nature to cast personal regeneration. So this giant snake can regenerate at 30%, which is pretty wild. In just here with 2 candles, he would be regenerating about 60 hit points per turn, which is, in my opinion, hilarious. Also, he's amphibious. That's probably not going to be relevant, but I mean, I guess it could. Like, maybe like one of our guys could grab this at some point. Fun fact. So let's look at the Pretenders of the World. We went with very themed names. So we have Killer Frost is our god, Goddess of the Healing Arts, the Beast, the Fortifier, the Long Winter. This is an immobile. I think it's it's not the Monolith, it's the Statue of Fertility. That's it. And then we have Put You on Ice, foremost of Killer Frost's servants, and Ice to meet you, he who is always behind Killer Frost. So just picture it as like snake, statue, snake, just traveling in like a train kind of thing. Then we also have Zardoz of Agartha. We have Arthur Frayne, the Star of Zardoz. That is a fairly obscure movie reference. And then we have, well, it's not very obscure, I guess. If you know who Zardoz is, you know who Arthur Frayne is. And then we have Snek, he who walks before Zardoz. So not themed names, boo. We've got Its Raining Men. And their associates of our SSG-73, the Guardian of the Servants of Its Raining Men, and Ultimate Smithing Minion, the Will of Its Raining Men. This is the underwater team. So Atlantis is the Pretender God. Pelagia, this is Perun, is a disciple, and Ultimate Smithing Minion of Therodos is a disciple. So we've got Perun, I've been told, is, yeah, right down there. There's Pelagia. I wonder why we can see that because it's next door to our Dominion. That's a kelp forest and the deep sea. So yeah, so we know that Pelagia is right here. That means Pelagia is almost certainly alone in this lake. The other two are probably going to be like here and here or something. Like right down here somewheres. And seem to have been told, I think we've already determined that there's another nation right here. So Pelagia is kind of flanked, sharing cap circles with a couple of different people. Hopefully that will keep him from getting on land, because ideally we would prevent Pelagia from getting on land at all. I don't want to spend all my money on Sacreds. I would like to recruit a Russian Wazard there. But let's get 4 Chud Skin Shifters, and then, like, I can't recruit a Bear Warrior. We'll just get, like, a Russian Warrior with an axe. That'll be fine. And Put You on Ice is going to research. I'm not going to blind expand with him, although a double regenerating Ormer is the kind of god who can blind expand, potentially. We've got 21 prop base because we have Earth 6. We started with Water 1, didn't bother to level that up anymore, but we've got the Nature 2, so we can cast more regeneration. 186 hit points, regenerating at 20%. This guy could probably solo expand just blind turn 1, but I've had terrible experiences with that before, and I just don't think it's really necessary. I don't think we need to do that. If we take a look at the map, we've got this big river that would actually be relevant to us if we weren't a Cold 3 nation. As it is, that's going to be constantly frozen once we spread Dominion for a while, so we don't have to worry about that. We got one cave nearby, which might have some cool sights. Up here, we've got a throne. This is kind of a choke point a little bit. Well, this province is actually just as much of a choke point. If we hold these two, that kind of cuts off attack from the north. There's a choke point right here. I don't know how far away the others are. On this map is about 13 provinces per person. So they'll probably not be much further than 3 provinces or so. I've got 3 provinces and then a cap between each of my allies. I did turn on clustered starts for this game, so we should all be... This should be about the standard distance. So we can count on, you know, people being at about this distance. This might be Agartha, because Agartha does like to start in caves. I turned up the cave frequency some, just so it wouldn't be immediately obvious where Agartha was. So Agartha could be here, they could be here, or they could be here, or they could... Yeah, they can't be there because that's a throne. So kind of 3 areas that Agartha could have ended up in. Yeah, in terms of geography, this is a fairly mountainous map. There are, at least in this little area here, there are some choke points, not too many, but like this right here could be a very interesting choke point, because it really does kind of control access. So these 3 provinces, if you go through here, you have to take a couple extra steps if you can't control this one. So going over here for Nasajin might be an excellent start. In case I haven't mentioned, by the way, Nasajin and I took exactly the same god. Why? Because it was funny. To be honest, it just seemed a little humorous for both of the disciples of this immobile statue to be just the identical snakes. They're the same thing. They exactly the same paths, everything. Which should be cool. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's the first turn. In terms of mercenaries, I think there are some mercenaries available. The archers in white, fuck them, I don't care about them. But we have, yeah, this is going to be an interesting game. In terms of the teams, there's a lot of memeing going on here, to be totally honest. Of course, we have us, the Cold Boys. We're fairly serious. Like, not 100% serious. What's funny about us is we actually planned at the start of the draft, because we did draft nations for this. At the start of the draft, we were planning to try and be like a coalition of hot nations, and that got thrown immediately out the window. Round 1 of the draft, we got Pangaea, but both of our other nations were taken. And of course, we ended up being exactly the opposite. The underwater team is going to be interesting, because underwater nations are simultaneously like pathetic and horrifying, because on the one hand, they tend to really struggle to get out of the water, but on the other hand, they are invincible in the water. Like, Pelagia is terrible on land, but attacking them in water is a terrible idea. So unless this is Agartha, if this is Agartha, then you might see something really hilarious. You might see Kris Lighthawk. Kris Lighthawk won a previous game, the game where I was early age relay, as Hellbless EA Agartha. And if he's right there, he might potentially be tempted to try and rush Perun if Perun, assuming that the underwater nation didn't take a heavy bless themselves, which probably they didn't, because they could be pretty confident they weren't going to get attacked, being that they're, you know, all the water nations are on one team, which is probably fairly cancerous. I regret nothing. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, if Agartha is right here, that might be really funny. But probably not. I mean, odds are decent that Agartha is elsewhere. Over here, this lake is just going to be absolute hell for anyone to go into. But this also will, because Pelagia is so strong underwater. They have such strong water mages. They have communion mages. They're probably unassailable. In terms of the other teams, we've got a team that kind of looked like they were going for, like, a horrible elf hellbless until they took Arcoscephale. That is, the mighty one of, what's it, Heavy Metal Dark Lord Thrasher. So Vanheim is their pretender god. They've got Vanheim, so they have Vanheim, the most powerful sacred in the era, probably. They've got Arcoscephale, which has the Wind Rider sacreds. They're not bad. They're not weak, and they can fly. So, yeah, you could give these guys an elf-style Hellbless, and they might be pretty potent. But I'm not sure if the scales you would have to take to pay for that would synchronize well with Arcoscephale. And then they also have Tir Na, which is... Where's Tir Na? World record for largest head. Nice. I love the name. There it is. So, Thunderstriking Wizard Thrasher. The second follower of Heavy Metal Dark Lord Thrasher. Yeah, I mean, he's got Tuatha, or Tuaha, I don't know how to pronounce that. Tell me how to pronounce that in the comments. He's got these guys, which are pretty powerful, but they're not, I mean, they're not elf cavalry, they're just kind of sneaky elf infantry. But he does have and she lords. So powerful thugs, especially with a good bless. So I'm not sure what they're going for, to be totally honest. Then we've got Machaka, Agartha, and Berytos. So they've got a powerful blood nation on their side, and probably their long-term game plan is basically to protect Snek here, and transition into hard blood by the end. They've got Machaka, so they've got excellent raiding. They've got really solid, like, magic in general. Buddhas are fantastic. I've been thinking about early age Machaka, and I'm also, on a slight tangent, I'm thinking that one of the things to do with early age Machaka might be to lean more heavily on Spider Clan sorcerers, try and get that ND cross path out, because you might avoid some of the issues that I was running into with using a lot of Lion Queens, getting a lot of friendly fire from the Fire Nature cross path. I think Spider Clan sorcerers would tend to lean harder on their death, at least if they got random death 2 or so, and you might get a death 3 out of them now and then. Of course, you can also get death 3 with Buddhas, but the Death Nature cross path does have some interesting summons, so I wonder if we'll see those. Spider Clan sorcerers are relatively cheap, especially considering they take 2 turns to recruit, so they're like 85 gold a turn, or 87.5 gold per turn. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about. But that team I don't think is going to go with any heavy bless or anything. That doesn't look like a rush team to me. Sauromatia, and Hinnom actually is probably more concerning in the early game, because all of those nations are pretty decent at the start, and then they continue to be strong. Sauromatia, of course, has quite a strong sacred, the Oyopata. For the price, these girls are magnificent. They've got the magic tattoos, so they have invulnerability. They've got decent speed, high cavalry stats. They've got a lance charge attack. They're very, very solid. And then, of course, Sauromatia just has very solid cavalry in general. Like, Sauromatian cataphracts are practically, like, late-age quality cavalry, especially considering that their magic horse tattoo gives them even more defense skill and invulnerability. So Sauromatia is dangerous, particularly considering they are one of the top... they're certainly one of the top communion nations in the early age. They might be the top communion nation in the early age. They would be competitive with the middle age communion nations even. Inaris are a little bit expensive, but they're very, very solid. Death 2, Astral 1, one of the premier Skelospam mages in the game. And they have a little bit of blood as well. So Sauromatia's got some blood. Hinnom, of course, has plenty of blood. Doesn't have any blood, but they're still like a decent mid-range nation. I mean, they're nothing to write home about, but I think they're solid. I was actually playing Machaka or were the 2 nations that I was most strongly thinking about playing in this game before the draft happened, and of course wiped that idea out. And then we have Fomoria, Yomi, and Lanka. They pulled an incredible power move by making Yomi their pretender god. The reason this is an incredible power move is because, as far as I know, this means that everyone will get, like, the unrest that and reduced income that Yomi causes, but they won't get the free spawn. Only Yomi itself gets the free spawn. So maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe they know something I don't know, but I think that making Yomi your pretender god just kind of screws you. But who knows? Let's see if they know something that I don't. Yomi is, of course, I mean, we all know what Yomi is. It's stronger now than it used to be, but still, I would say not a very high tier nation. But they have Fomoria and Lanka, both of which are quite strong. So they've got some real solid stuff on their side. This nation, this team, if anything, I would expect that this is the team that's going for, like, super combatant memes. Because they've got the Raksharaja, which are pretty strong in that role. They've got the Fomorian Kings, which are pretty strong in that role. They've got the Dai-Oni, which are definitely strong in that role. And they have a lot of summons that can be used for that kind of thing. They have a lot of summonable sacreds in total. They have a lot of, the demon summons, the summonable, the demon generals, and of course the recruitable Oni Shugos as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I would kind of expect a lot of thugs out of that team. And it'll be cool to see how the game goes. So, that's turn 1. In terms of positioning and strategy here, I'm going to be taking my troops. My Rusian hunters, my Rusian warriors, all those guys. And I'm just going to be face-smashing these guys in a direction, essentially, with my Sacreds. Actually, I should probably recruit a Rusian Priest, shouldn't I? Yeah, let's recruit a Priest, another Skin Shifter. And... yeah, a couple more Rusian Warriors. So I'm probably going to turn this into an expansion party, or maybe send them with my god, and this into an expansion party. We'll see what seems like the best course. If I have two easy targets, I may just send my god after one of them, and Casimir after another with everybody, plus the priest to bless. And yeah, we'll go from there. It should be a good game. So, thanks for watching. I know this has been a long turn 1, but I wanted to go over those teams. So I'll see y'all in turn 2. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, turn 2 of the Incoherence with the Pantokrators. Turn 1, I think my video there was a little long and a little incoherent, so I'll try to kind of fix that a little bit as we go along. But things are going, things right now are doing pretty good. We've got two decent target provinces immediately, Bandit Hills and Bogger Wold. We do have our Dominion in Bandit Hills, so that's where we are sending Put You on Ice. He's going to grab that, because of course he'll get his extra, the Bless, his extra 10% regeneration. 10% regeneration on this guy is probably fine, because that's 19 HP per turn, but 20% just to be, like, extra super duper cool. We'll grab that. Well, actually, you know what, strategically speaking, we don't really have to. Because all this stuff that's interior to us is gonna get got. Like, we don't have to worry about that. Actually, I changed my mind. While I was sitting here talking about it, I changed my mind. The thing to do is to push outwards as fast as possible. So we're gonna grab Boggerwold and Falgoth. And we're gonna try to get as far out in this direction as we can, because if you look, this is we kind of form a triangle. So what's inside the triangle is fine. We want to get outside the triangle ASAP. We do have Yomi right next to us. I don't actually know why we can see Yomi, but we can for some reason. And yeah, we've got Pelagia. Somebody to the south of them, like I said, I've been told. And we are in a pretty good shape. That's about it. We're not researching anything just yet. In terms of research, we did get random research. We got Evo, Construction, Enchantment, and Thaumaturgy, all level 1. That's fine. I could have done with some Conjuration, but I'm not too worried about it. And we're not recruiting any commanders either. We're recruiting 4 Chud Skin Shifters instead, and then like 1 Rusian warrior to go with them. And then next turn we'll recruit a Rusian priest again, and he will lead an expansion party of Chud Skin Shifters. So we'll have another expansion party by turn 4. So right now we've got these guys, including our Sacreds, our 5 Skin Shifters we recruited last turn. We've got Pavel blessing them. Unfortunately, these Rusian hunters are undisciplined, so they're not going to be of too much help, but these guys will be fine. We've got Put You on Ice doing his own thing, and we should be good. I will want to keep Put You on Ice inside our Dominion as much as possible, but outside 10% regeneration, like I said, it's enough for him to take easy provinces like this. Heavy infantry and militia not threatening to him at all. So he'll grab that, and then we'll see where we go from there. I do probably want to grab these Lion Tribe fairly quickly, and but yeah, other than that, I just want to kind of push out this way, and I'd also like to take 69 if at all possible. If I can get that, then I have an advantage over Yomi. This is kind of a, you know, like, this is the only way he can go to get to me without going around through this cave, and it's a farm, so it should hopefully be of decent income, and it's farm mountain, so actually probably it'll end up being average income but high site frequency, which would be very nice. So that's the plan. Perun put up a video. This obviously would have been like 2 weeks ago for you guys. Perun put up a video talking about his team and what a meme it is, which is like, yes, in a way, and no, in a way, given the way Disciples games work. Anyway, it's an interesting team, actually, the team, the Underwater Bastards. As I think I said, I don't remember exactly, as I think I said in the first video, I actually consider them to be probably one of the, like, 2 or 3 more dangerous teams. Like, they're in the upper 50% of this game. Basically because of the way Disciples games work, that you have these teammates that you can just trade resources freely with. I mean, like, you know, they've got Therodos, which is essentially worthless. They have no... Disciple Therodos just has no troops and very little recruitment at all. But what that means is, I mean, they've also got Atlantis, which is, this is Pelagia, so Atlantis and Therodos are over here somewhere. So they've got this big lake, and basically that whole lake is just going to be income for Atlantis. I mean, because Therodos can just shovel money in Atlantis, because they don't need money. In fact, they probably can't spend a lot of money. It's just not going to be possible, unless they get a big land presence and build several land forts, and even then, their stuff isn't too terribly expensive. So all their spare money can just be shoveled to Atlantis. Meanwhile, Atlantis can be shoveling gems back, kind of the way that I was doing with Ulm back in the Disciples of YouTube game when Nasajin and I played together. Atlantis can just be shoveling gems back, and then Therodos uses their good forgers to forge stuff that Atlantis normally wouldn't have access to, and forge stuff cheaper, I think. Or, no, they don't get cheap forging, they get higher level forging. So, yeah, that's an incredibly powerful combination, actually. And you've got Pelagia over here. Pelagia is going to be invincible in the water, because they're Pelagia, and nobody is going to be able to attack them down here. So this is just, once again, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 provinces of free income that can be shoveled over to Atlantis, or if Pelagia can get a foothold, I mean, they could recruit some stuff. Their stuff isn't particularly worth recruiting compared to Atlantis' stuff. So, yeah, I think I would just play this as Atlantis with 3 times the normal income, and extra forging capacity, and, from Pelagia, the ability to turn water gems into astral pearls at will. So, it's Atlantis, but super powerful in astral, and with, it's not 3 times, it's like 2.5 times the normal income, because they get the income from every water province. Yeah, and then with that, you could easily probably take these provinces, kind of connect the realm, as it were, and I think at that point, you're golden. I mean, there are a lot of thrones within striking distance of the ponds. So there's no thrones underwater, but there's one here that's in striking distance, one here, one here, one here, one here. That's 5. If we look at the thrones, 5 wins the game. 5 thrones will just win the game, because you need 10 ascension points. So, speaking of the thrones, I don't think we talked about that in episode 1. We've got the Throne of Sorcery, which is a level 3, Thaumaturgy bonus, extra ritual range, more magic. The Throne of Creation, ritual casting +1, conjure construction bonus, extra resources, but it gives you a bunch of turmoil. We already have Turmoil 3, so that should be fine. Life gives us nature, we would love that one. Outer Throne gives us astral, that wouldn't be bad. Throne of Fire gives Adepts of Pyrophlegeton, which is very cool. Fire 3 mages. Crystal Throne gives Crystal mages, those are amazing. Silver Throne gives Silver Adepts, those are also amazing, and the Throne of Knowledge gives Lore Masters and Sages. This throne by itself makes your research. So all these thrones are definitely game-changing. We have one in our territory, like right here. We can definitely take that one. This one is literally next to Yomi, so they'll probably get that one, but if we hit them hard enough and fast enough, we might be able to steal it from them. We've got that one up there near me. There's gonna be someone else right next to it, I'm sure, or very close to it. So we'll have to fight a war over that one. But our position in terms of thrones isn't too bad. 3 thrones in proximity. After that, we are going to have to go further afield. Like I said, you need at least, if you look at the thrones right here, you need at least 4, and that's if you get both level 3s. Otherwise, you need 5. So that's 3. That one, and that one, and that one are the others that we could feasibly reach. Up there, that's a little bit of a stretch, I think. I think that you might be able to get that one as well. Anyway, that's clearly our first goal. I think that's our... whatever is easiest is going to be our second over here. And then after that, we'll see if Niefelheim can reach over to Province 43 and grab that. But it will really kind of depend on the circumstances. That said, we are seeing some pretty sweet indies here. We've got Bone Tribe next to Pangaea, and we've got Crystal Amazons next to Niefelheim. So those are some very, very cool mages. And yeah, that's turn 2. I'll see y'all in turn 3. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Incoherence of the Pantokrators, turn 3. Let's dive right into it. Some battles. So first in Bushford, Pangaea won an expansion against heavy infantry and slingers. Great. In Karnag, the Ormer, ran into a Circle Master and Conjurers. Ooh. That could be yikesy, but it looks like he won. Yeah, the 20% regeneration, I think, probably did the job here. Yeah, it looks like they're just spamming skeletons. So these guys, I think we've seen them before in different series. They're Blood Death mages. They often Sabbath up. It looks like they haven't done that this time. And yeah, they tend to just spam skeletons. So Ice to Meet You here got surrounded, but he's just regenerating through the damage. 34 HP per turn, not a big deal. And because of the regeneration, he's very unlikely to take afflictions. Can happen, not super common. The skeletons, it does look like, are gonna probably have him wrapped up for most of this fight, because they won't rout like everyone else does. So this one's gonna be long, and yeah, oh, he did get a never-healing wound. Yeah, this is a risk that you definitely run. When you're surrounded by things that don't rout, the fear doesn't matter. And so these skeletons are just going to keep dealing damage and keep proccing that very, very small chance to cause an affliction. Over and over and over and over and over. And this is the kind of thing that can end up with pretenders being, like, afflicted into uselessness. And he's, yeah, because he got that never-healing wound, his max HP lowered, and that lowered his regeneration. So he's now regenerating only 28 per turn. And so his HP is, it's coming back up. It was ticking down, but basically every turn he kills a skeleton. Or almost every turn he at least does a lot of damage to a skeleton. So he's doing, because yeah, that's piercing damage, so they do take half damage from that, but it's still 14. So yeah, this is just going to take a while, but he won, which is good. Oh, no, he didn't. He was defeated. He ran. Ouch. That sucks. Yeah, that does suck. And then in Warshin, he won with his Jotun warriors. Cool. Then, my battles. In Baggerwald, I sent out my infantry. I turned off the terrain there. Let me turn the terrain back on. So I've got my undisciplined Rusian hunters over there. I should actually have this priest kind of behind the troops. I didn't this time, but we got the blessing on my Chud skin shifters. And they're big medicine. They're pretty rough. They're tough. They've got the stuff. You can see they took some damage there back because their prot and defense skills are both low. But because of the blood bond and the regeneration, I think they're going to be fine. They're effectively just spreading the damage out across everybody. So, like, this guy should, I think, be close to dead, but he's not because of the blood bond. And then, of course, they just regenerate through the damage. None of them have even gone bear form yet. And, yeah, they charge up, they clear out the archers, and they're fine. I lost 2 Rusiad warriors, and then in Falgoth, my god, going somewhat daringly out of Dominion. But, yeah, this is a real easy province. No mages, nothing. So he should just clean them up, no trouble. He'll take some damage. He'll take a few hits, but the regeneration ought to take care of it. Yeah, so he's just regenerating only 16 HP per turn since he's out of Dominion, but that's more than enough. And no afflictions for him. So, great. So we've double expanded. Niefelheim, Ice to Meet You is back at the capital. Pangaea has expanded down here. We do see Pelagia. And, of course, we've got Yomi over there. I haven't started negotiating with Yomi yet. I don't know what their, I don't know what the dealio with them is. That's militia and heavy infantry, so I can probably take that just fine, too. Let's get a Rusian priest, and 26 gold. Let's actually get a Chud warrior there. So that's 5, those 5. That'll be a decent expansion party. That can take Bandit Hills. Dominion is not spreading very quickly, alas. So we are maybe going to have to duck outside of our Dominion one more time, but Amber Fields should once again be fairly easy. So Put You on Ice is just going to go straight for that. I don't need to take Yellow Caves just yet. And that should be pretty easy too, because that's Lion Tribe. So should Mins. And Golfalas shouldn't be too hard either. So I think I'm going to go for Mins for right now. We'll put Pavel kind of behind the group just there. That'll be fine. Still not researching anything, still not recruiting any mages, because we're just focusing on churning out the expansion parties. And our income isn't great, because our scales aren't fantastic, so still at fairly low income. The provinces we took, this province is actually very low income, Falgoth. That's unfortunate. But we'll grab Amber Fields, and then we'll see if we can, maybe we can wrap around this way, or maybe we will have to double back. I have 16 map move. So, since this is... that's a mountain. What's a mountain cost? Yeah. Probably what I'll have to do is hit this province and then head back up this way, if this province looks at all attainable. If not, Put You on Ice, we'll have to double back. But that will be alright, because next turn I'll have my second expansion party going out anyway. So I should be able to maintain 2 province per turn expansion for at least a little bit. And if I can get spread Dominion here into Forest of Long Nights, then put you on ice will absolutely be able to take out these Deer Tribe. Without Dominion, it might be a little bit challenging, but overall, I don't think so. Haven't had any contact with Pelagia yet, although they have now seen us. They should have seen us before, actually. And yeah, I'm not sure what diplomacy we want to do. I should talk to my teammates about that. But... oh, mainly long dead, so there are some undead there, too. Hoplites, that's a nice little... Hoplites are actually pretty decent as indie troops go. But overall, I think we're going to be... I think we're in a pretty good place. I've got 6 nature gems. I'm probably going to start funneling nature gems over to Pangaea, like, pretty soon. In fact, I might as well do it now, actually. No, not magic item. I'm going to send gems. I'm going to send my 6N over to Pangaea just so they have it, so that they can use it to throw up forts and stuff. And now, strategically, there's one interesting thing that we can do here, which is Pangaea gets half-price infrastructure in forests. They get half-price labs and temples, I think, if I recall correctly. Hold on. I seem to recall that they get that. Yeah, they get half-price labs and temples in forests. So what we can do here is actually we can transfer forest provinces over to Pangaea, have them build a lab and a temple, along with, and we can even send him the money for it. Have him build a lab and a temple, and then take it back the next turn and build our forts there. And, of course, if Pangaea doesn't want to spend the nature gems on the spell, they can transfer us gold, have us build forts in forests for them, and then transfer it back. Because, like, I am... yeah, I don't get any... I guess I also get cheap temples, so I can only really benefit from the cheap labs. But I mean, like, cheap labs ain't bad. And with cheap labs, I can start recruiting Thunder Priests more quickly. And Thunder Priests are, of course, my primary combat mage. And they're a little expensive, so it might be nice to get them quickly and cheaply. In any case, all of that will be kind of future discussion. For now, I'm in pretty good shape. Once again, trying to double expand here. Jomon expanded down south, and I don't see anybody up there. So hopefully we won't have a bump. If we do have a bump, that will be sad. I'm actually going to cancel this guy. Oh, 24 gold. Yikes. No, I'm not. I want to recruit a scout, but I don't have the money. I do have Wreck Anywhere scouts, because Rusian scouts are... you can recruit them... I'm not sure if you can recruit them only in all forests and mountains, or if you can just recruit them anywhere. Yeah, it can be recruited outside forts. You can recruit them anywhere. Pretty fucking sweet. And I can also, of course, recruit Bear Warriors anywhere. And Bear Warriors are very, very solid units. A little gold expensive, but pretty high quality for what you get. And you can recruit Chewed Hunters and Rusian Hunters all over the place. Once again, Chewed Hunters are 2 gold expensive, in my opinion, for what you get for them. No shield. High stats, but relatively low prot. I like Bear Warriors better. In any case, that is the turn. So I will see you all in the next one. Ciao.